Hey everyone, welcome back to Talent Sherpas. My name's Matt, Silicon Valley-based executive coach and career consultant. Today, we're tackling one of the biggest challenges facing job seekers in 2024, and that is figuring out which roles you're actually a good fit for and how to stop wasting time on roles that will not lead to offers. Over the last 18 months, I've worked with over 600 clients, from new grads to VPs, across many different industries in over 11 different countries. And there's one tool that I've used that helps them navigate their job search more strategically. And that is the hiring decision matrix. Let's take a look and let's dive in. Okay, without further ado, let's dive in. So as you can see here on the screen, the matrix is split into 4 different quadrants, which we'll go over separately. But the key thing to think about are the x-axis and the y-axis. So you need to think about your own experience in terms of whether you've actually done the role that you're applying for or not. So bottom of the y-axis, that would be if you've never done that role, or maybe you want to do that role and haven't done it yet. Top of the axis would be you have many years of experience doing that specific role. The next part we want to look at is the x-axis. There we want to think about how well do we know that actual company, industry, or problem that that role is trying to solve. Again, if we're on the positive end of the x-axis, that means we know that space really well. Maybe we've worked in that space. Maybe we've even worked at a competitor. And on the other side, we're completely new and don't know anything about that space. So this is the first place to orient, to think about the 2 axes of the framework. Next, we're going to look at what each of the 4 quadrants mean for the hiring decision framework and how you can use it to prioritize your job search going forward. Okay, let's start on the bottom left here. In this zone, we have what I like to call the no interview zone. So here, again, going back to our matrix, we look at 2 things. Someone who's in this zone when they apply for a role is both not experienced in the role and also not knowledgeable about the company, industry, or space. So if you're applying to roles in this zone, there is little to no likelihood that a company will select you for an interview, let alone an offer. I see a lot of clients spending time in this zone. And when they do that, it really sets you up for heartbreak, because you're not going to get a lot of responses, positive responses, I should say. And you'll be spending a lot of time focused on roles that won't ultimately lead to a new role. So you want to think about, am I in the no interview zone for this role? If so, don't spend time applying. That's my advice there. Next, let's go up to the top left quadrant. This is what I like to call the no offer zone. This is a really unique one where candidates will often have experience doing the role, but maybe in a different space or a different industry. So they've done the job, they just haven't done the job in the same space as the company they're applying to. What I see here with a lot of candidates is that this zone will often lead to a lot of interviews, and it feels great because companies are interested in you, they want to learn more about you, but ultimately it doesn't lead to offers. People in this zone, when they're applying to roles that are here, they find that they get pretty far in the interview process, but will often lose out to more qualified candidates that have that industry knowledge. So while offers can definitely materialize in this zone, there are going to be definitely fewer offers than you would see in some of the other zones. So this is what I like to call the no offer zone here. The key takeaway is to really think about, if you don't yet have the industry experience, what's the most similar experience that you do have, and how can you best explain that in the interview? That's one way you can tactically help to translate the experience you do have to actual offers when you're in the no offer zone. Next, let's take a look at the bottom right quadrant here. I call this the internal transfer zone. This is a unique space where candidates will have a lot of industry knowledge, but not a lot of experience in the role. So an example might be someone who has worked at a specific company or in a certain space for a long time. They know what that industry is like. They know what the people care about there. They know who the players are, but they haven't done whatever that specific role is in the industry. I call this the internal transfer zone. The reason I call it that is because with that combination of experience and knowledge, where you have a lot of knowledge but not a lot of experience, this is likely difficult to get into as an external candidate. In my opinion, companies are often less likely to want to invest in the experience part for an external candidate, whereas for an internal candidate who knows their company, knows their processes, knows their culture, that's someone who can pivot internally to a new role. So if you're looking at roles like this, I would encourage not applying to these unless you're inside already. That's more of an internal transfer track, less a point to get in as an external candidate there. And last but not least, we have the hiring zone. This is the zone where all the hiring happens. This is the zone where you want to be. So how do you get there? You need to really look at the jobs that you're applying to and think about, do I have experience in this role? Would a third person looking at my resume say that I have done what this role is in a similar way? That's going to get you part of the way there. The other part is, do I know that space? Have I worked at a competitor? Do I know who the players are? Do I understand the business? It's when you have that combination of both experience and industry knowledge together, that's when the hiring makes sense, and that's when hiring happens. The hiring zone is where you want to be, and that's how you can get there, is by thinking about, do I have the experience? Do I have the knowledge? And that's going to set you up as one of the stronger candidates for those roles in particular. Okay, so that's the hiring decision matrix. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Key takeaways are to use this matrix, think about your own background, your own experience, your own knowledge, and then think about that against the roles that you're looking at. If you fall into the no offer zone or the no interview zone, don't apply. If you fall into the internal transfer zone, don't apply. It's the ones that you fall squarely in the hiring zone. That's where you want to invest the time with networking, proactive outreach, applications, and certainly interview practice as well. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you want to chat more about it, you can book a call with me easily on my website at the link below. Look forward to hearing from you soon, and best of luck in your career journey. Thanks, everyone.